Hello. I wasn't planning on doing the Met Mile, but it's only 5 horses, so I thought I would go ahead and do it anyway on video and give my thoughts. It's on Saturday at Saratoga. It's part of the Belmont Stakes undercard, and we're going to talk about Fierceness first. So let's go ahead and talk about this race. Can any horse beat Fierceness? Probably not, but let's talk about it. Fierceness comes into the Met Mile off a good return race at Churchill Downs. He won the Alysheba Stakes over Most Wanted by a length and a half. I don't think it was his best effort, but it was a good starting point to get him on the right track, and we're going to watch the race. Now, the fractures don't appear on the screen. I don't know why, but Most Wanted had everything his own way in this race, and the screen blacked out for a second. Most Wanted had the 24 and 48 fractions, and Fierceness. I mean, most horses can't pass a good pace setter who sets those type of fractions, but Fierceness is on another level, and it didn't matter to him that Most Wanted had the easiest fractions, and he just passes him in the stretch with some urging from the jockey. That's fine. He's making his first start off the layoff. You don't expect a horse to run his best race when he comes off a layoff, a multi-month layoff, and I believe he will run better this time. If you look at his past performances, the last time that he ran a 107 on Breeze was in the Travers Stakes, and he won that by a head over Torpedo Anna, and then he ran a 112 in the Breeders' Cup Classic. I would expect maybe the same pattern this time, where he runs a 107 in the Alysheba, maybe a 112 here. Maybe better, he's a 4-year-old now, and 4-year-olds are supposed to run faster than a 3-year-old, and I think he will improve. Maybe not here, maybe as the year goes on, but I think he's cycling up to that 112, and he will be tough to beat in this race. But let's talk about the other horses. It is a handicap, so the horses will have different weights to them. Let's talk about White Abarrio. White Abarrio's best numbers are just below the 112 from Fierceness. Even when he won the Breeders' Cup Classic 2 years ago, he had a 108 on Breeze. And even when he won the Pegasus Invitational this year, he only had a 104 on Breeze. So those numbers are a concern. Let's take a look at the Ghost Zapper Stakes. As they turn for home, White Abarrio is on the lead. Power Squeeze is right next to him. And I do like the way White Abarrio finished this race. Even though he did not get a high number on Breeze, I still like the way that he drew clear a Power Squeeze once they turned for home and into the stretch. Right here, he's going to draw clear a Power Squeeze. Power Squeeze is a filly, but she's a good filly. I don't want to knock her too much. The rest of the field, not so strong. Tuscan Sky never panned out, but White Abarrio had plenty left. He could have won by more, and he just gave the impression that there was more in the tank. However, I still can't take him. I mean, he's a 6-year-old horse, and his best numbers are below Fierceness, so is he really going to improve? I think it'll take a 110 or 112 to win this race, and I just don't believe he can get to that level. I do think there's another horse in this race that I want to talk about that maybe has a chance to make Fierceness sweat. I don't think it'll be White Abarrio. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to rank him third. Now, Castle Chaos, I think the connections were hustled to get into this race. I don't think he has a chance after finishing 5th in the Knicks Go. He did finish 4th in this race last year. Maybe these are different circumstances. Now he has to face Fierceness. Now he has to face White Abarrio. Well, I think White Abarrio might have been in last year's field, but this is a different version of White Abarrio, and I think he's in good form now. And I also want to talk about Just a Touch. So these are good horses, and Raging Torrent on the outside. Maybe if he's lucky, maybe he can get 4th if one of the other horses throws a clunker, but that's his limit. Now let's talk about Just a Touch. Just a Touch doesn't have the numbers to beat Fierceness at first glance, but look at how he returned. He won an allowance race at Fairgrounds by 10 lengths in March. He won an optional claimer at Keeneland by 7 lengths in April. And he's only a 4-year-old horse. He's a 4-year-old colt. So he has room to improve. And he did show promise last year when he ran second in the Bluegrass Stakes to Sierra Leone, who eventually won the Breeders' Cup Classic later in the year. Let's take a look at that optional claimer at Keeneland. Just a Touch is on the lead, and you can see he's starting to open up right now on his own power. Skinner is in between horses. He's a familiar name, and I think that's who's that on the outside? Gold's Gold. But Just a Touch is going to draw clear of them easily on his own power. The jockey is giving him a hand ride. He's not using the whip really. Maybe that one tap right there. Just a Touch is opening up easily. He could have won by more. There was plenty more in the tank. And when there's plenty more in the tank, you have to take that speed figure with a grain of salt because it's usually based on the final time. I'm not 100% sure with Breeze, but with Buyers and Timeform US, they do factor in the final time heavily. So I think that you have to assume that he could have done better than a 104, and especially since he's a 3-year-old, he's an improving no 4-year-old. He's an improving 4-year-old on the upswing. How much better can he get? I mean, if you're looking to beat Fierceness, I wouldn't do it with my own money, but if you're looking to beat Fierceness, you should take a long look at Just a Touch because he could upset this field. And let's talk about Raging Torrent. I don't want to knock Raging Torrent too much because he has developed into a nice horse. He kind of struggled in his 2-year-old season and his early 3-year-old season, but then he started to win once they put him on dirt and kept him in one-turn races. I have to question though, who did he beat in the Pat O'Brien Stakes? The Chosen Brawn? The Chosen Brawn is okay. He's a good California sprinter. And then Raging Torrent struggled in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. And then in the Malibu Stakes, he beat Stronghold, Imagination. Those are okay horses. Mystic Dan was in that field, but it wasn't the Mystic Dan that we know right now. It was a different version. And Mystic Dan was coming off a layoff in that race. So I have to question whether or not the Malibu Stakes was a strong race. And then the Godolphin Mile, I don't think that was a strong race. I don't know who King Gold is or Kazoo Petrin. And I think Raging Torrent is probably a step below White Abario and Fierceness, or Fierceness and White Abario. Fierceness will be my top choice in this race, and Just a Touch as well. I think if you're looking for an upset, Just a Touch is the horse on the upswing. And I think we know what Raging Torrent's best race is by now. Just a Touch hasn't raced that often, so we don't know what his ceiling is. And I think Raging Torrent, if he fires his best race, maybe that'll be around the 107, 108 range. And Just a Touch could be a 110, 112 horse on Breeze. And Just a Touch, again, Just a Touch, we don't know for sure how good he can get. Maybe I'm wrong. But if you're looking for an upset, that's the horse. But if you're just looking to play it safe, Fierceness is going to win this race probably. And Fierceness is my top choice in this race. So I'm going to pick Fierceness to win the Met Mile. Just a Touch will be my second choice. I'll rank White Abario third. It's a 5-horse field. Maybe you can skip it and find a better race to play. But if you have to play this race, I think Fierceness is unavoidable. And that's my Met Mile analysis. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back soon.